Well, I'm glad everybody got to be able to join us. We're glad that you're here today. And the guy that you're listening to right now and seeing is Tom Wongard. He's the El Presidente of Cartridge Savers up in Wisconsin. Say hey.
Good morning.
Awesome. Glad you're here. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the GovBrief host. And a quick disclaimer, this is a vendor-sponsored event. It's not affiliated or endorsed by GSA, since we're going to be talking a lot about GSA or any other agency. And participation by you, government personnel, is not an indication or endorsement of or commitment to purchase from any vendor. So we got that out of the way. That's good news, right? But we wanted to make sure we have a special welcome for all the procurement professionals, P-card holders, department heads. We had a whole bunch of folks last time we were here. We were talking about FSSI OS4. We had a whole bunch of folks that were department heads as well, just learning about the contract itself. But we're going to be talking about gray market today. But we appreciate everybody here that are contracting officers, specialists, logistics, facilities, and GSA specialists, of course. We're glad that you guys decided to join us today. Well, today I'll give you some briefing controls so that you guys can participate, as well as introduce you to Tom, and he'll introduce Cartridge Savers as an FSSI OS4 holder. He will help give us an overview of that and some of the approved products, and avoiding the gray market and bait and switch, which happens every once in a while, doesn't it?
That's right. As we'll hear, it's alive and well on GSA, but they're working hard to stamp it out.
That's exactly right. We'll give you a list of the OS4 holders, as well as ways to be able to protect your agency from these things. So with that, I'm going to ask a poll. We're going to do just to make sure everybody's paying attention and staying awake. So why are you here? Because you buy office supplies, you use FSSI as mandatory for your agency, I want to learn more about OS4, or my boss made me come. At least one person has to be able to pick the boss made me come. So you let me know about that, and we'll make sure we'll get that. All right, we do have some of the folks that are smart Alex, which is great. And with that, we'll close the poll, and there you go. A third of the people buy office supplies. The third want to know more about OS4, and several people with the boss made me come. So there you go. We love that. So thanks for that. And so you know about how this works. You are in control of what you see and how it works for you. You can open the panel on the right-hand side, and you can ask questions in that panel, as well as if you called in on the phone, make sure you enter your audio pin. We have several folks here on the phone. Make sure that you enter your audio pin. If you don't have an audio pin, then push pound, and you should be okay. But if you don't have a mic, you can call in on the phone. And if you'd like to, you can shoot questions to FSSI@cartridgesavers.com throughout this, so you can communicate with us, and we'll make sure you get the information that you need. There's also handouts with the presentation here. And in addition to the capabilities for you, we put that in there for you, Tom. But the imitation, frequently asked questions, and restitution, which we'll talk about. So if you want to download those, you can do that, and we'll make sure that you're going to be interested in the restitution part. You probably don't even know that exists, but we do want to do that. So what's your biggest issue with ordering office supplies? Is it the FSSI mandate? Is it Ability One mandate? Finding products? You can answer as many as you want. Gray market substitutions, or time to delivery? And you can choose as many of these as you. No, you can't. I don't think you can. You can only choose one. So let us know which ones are your biggest issues in getting there. So I know there's a lot of folks that are here for the gray market, and we'll make sure we get what you need. And we'll give you another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, there you go. So 67% finding products and 33% dealing with gray market, which is great because that's why we're here, right, Tom?
Absolutely, and we can touch a little bit on finding products while we're at it too.
Absolutely, we'll make sure we do that. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Tom Wongard. You guys have been around since 1994, and you have just a little bit of experience in the federal space. Tell us a little bit about Cartridge Savers.
That's right. So we're a family-owned second-generation business here, celebrating 25 years in business. My dad started the company back in '94, and I took the reins just over a year ago. So we started off doing remanufactured toner cartridges here in the state of Wisconsin, and expanded to some state contracts, and then moved into the federal world. We've been doing federal contracting for about 15 years now, and have expanded our offering from just the remanufactured products to the OEM brands that we'll talk about today, and then to an entire line of office supplies, the Ability One line, janitorial products, break room, office supplies, shredders. We carry a lot more than we originally started with just a handful of toner cartridges. So that's the short answer for who we are.
And you guys are Ability One, outstanding Ability One authorized distributor, right? And that's also a big deal for the feds, right?
Absolutely. So we're very proud to support the Ability One program, and have been named an outstanding Ability One distributor for I think we're going on maybe 5 years now in that program.
Excellent. And you did graduate 8A, which tells you that you guys did a great job of being able to get stay engaged. You're OS2 holder, now an OS4 holder, which is great. And why we're here is because of FSSI and the fact this started back in 2006 with OS1, and now we're in the 4th iteration, right, Tom?
That's right. So we've been around for a number of them. We came on for the first time with OS2. We had a number of BPAs underneath that. We served about a third of the VA hospitals in the country, as well as a number of other agencies. OS2 transitioned into OS3 after the 5 years was up, and we were an authorized participating dealer under that contract. And that one's expiring now. We're coming up on less than a month remaining of OS3, so we have an overlap period here with OS4, but OS4 is live. We were awarded back in January, and this one's set up a little bit different. It's going to be a 20-year schedule with its own special SIN, and it's going to solve a lot of the issues we had with the earlier FSSI contracts, as well as taking the best practices forward. So we're excited for this contract, and we think it's going to be a great vehicle for government customers.
And I think GSA learned the lesson from OS3 to award and on-ramp people, as opposed to just doing the recompete like they did the last time, I think.
That's right. Yeah, they're going to avoid some protests that way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. And you mentioned this, OS3 is going to be phased out by September 2019. It's already mandatory for Department of State, USDA, and the Air Force, right? And it is expected to be mandatory for all these agencies. So if you're with one of these agencies, you can already purchase off of it, but it is expected to be mandatory for that. And then best in class, once it's considered best in class, it will be for Treasury and Education. And you got some news on this yesterday, didn't you, Tom?
Yeah, so I was talking to the GSA yesterday, and a little bit of intel. They're expecting this best-in-class status to be certified next month, and that's really moving along the talks with a number of agencies, including the VA is expected to sign on with a mandatory commitment letter shortly.
Super. Well, that's good news. And you mentioned this. There's actually two SINs, enhanced for office products and services for OS4, and then overseas. So 220 and 280, 75 220 and 75 280 are the two new SINs. And you mentioned this as well, where it's a long-term strategy as opposed to doing 5 years. You're looking at best-in-class vendors. You guys have been through the ringer. I know that. Anybody that's made it through this has really, you have a great understanding of how things work in the federal space, and the delivery timelines are immediate. That you guys got it down to a science. So you're done a great job. And the piece that we're going to be talking about today, while there's an enhanced reporting, we're really going to be talking about the product controls, and that deals with making sure that you're getting what you're supposed to get, right, Tom?
Absolutely, because nothing worse than opening the box and finding that it's not what you ordered.
That's exactly right. So the product controls that are here is that OEM authorized reseller, we'll talk about what that means, but no gray, no black, and no substitutions without written approval from the CO, right?
That's correct. I think we'll hit each of those in a bit more detail.
We certainly will. And the big one is the gray and black market, the bait and switches. So this came from one of your providers. This is from HP. And so what kinds of cartridges are out there? You got clones, counterfeits, remanufactured, and original. So give us just a high-level overview of what each one of these are.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most interesting things because it's really hard to tell on Advantage, and that comes back to people having the difficulty finding product. And there are a number of different types that people don't know about. So the gold standard with HP toner is the original product. That's the product made by HP, the manufacturer. It's the original, guaranteed to work with your printer, and what originally came with the printer. Then you have the remanufactured toners, the ones that I mentioned that we had started our business around. So that takes the core of a genuine original product, replaces the parts that wear down, and puts new toner inside, remanufactures it, and ships it back out. Those should always be labeled as remanufactured. They should never be sold again as an original. And then we have clones. These are new build compatible, so they have nothing to do with HP or any of the other original equipment manufacturers. By and large, the vast majority of them are made in China, so they're not TA compliant. They're generally made with low quality parts. They're knockoffs. They're imitations of the real thing, and because they're not TA compliant, we really shouldn't be seeing them on GSA or in the federal market, but they're sneaking in there. So keywords to look out for are compatible, alternative. Unfortunately, they don't make it too easy. They don't label it knockoff or imitation for us, but
Right.
And then we also see counterfeit toners. These are the new build clones, the knockoff toners. But they're stuck in an HP box or a box that's supposed to look just like the OEM. They try passing it off as the original, so they won't call it a compatible or an alternative. They'll say it's the real thing. So those are the major parts, or the four types that you'll see out there.
Well, and all of these create a problem for agencies, right? So that's why when GSA got this together for OS4, they made it mandatory that you guys had to be authorized as a reseller, right? That's the number one thing.
Yeah, so initially out of the gate, to get onto Fizzy, if you're going to sell toner, you need to be authorized with the OEMs. So in the Fizzy world, that's HP, that's Xerox, that's Lexmark, and they also included Clover as a remanufactured brand. You need to be authorized with all four of them. They actually put up a website where you can go and check the status of any vendors outside of Fizzy or in Fizzy, but because it was a requirement of the Fizzy contract, you should expect that if you see that Fizzy logo on Advantage, the vendor is authorized with those four vendors.
And we're going to talk about what will happen if you guys do something, one of you guys do something that you shouldn't. But again, you have to be authorized through distribution through the manufacturer, and remanufactured's okay as long as you know what you're getting, right? Absolutely. So the issue is people passing things off, or as we'll talk about in a little bit, bait and switching, taking an order for an OEM and shipping something other than an OEM. Exactly. So these are the prohibited ones, right? Gray market, that means, now, what does that mean exactly? What does gray market mean?
So gray market are people that aren't authorized through one of the OEMs and are buying outside of the authorized distribution channels. So what we see a lot here is vendors buying overseas and bringing in maybe the European or Asian version of the same cartridge. They generally work, and they're the original cartridges, but you don't get a warranty with them because they're not made to be sold in the United States, and the vendors can't back them up. So in general, gray market acquisitions are not approved, or at least frowned upon in the federal space, because you're not getting entirely what you're paying for. You're paying for a product and a warranty, and you're just getting the product.
And black market, that's prohibited no matter what.
Yeah, and that covers the counterfeit products, the ones that are trying to pass themselves off as the original products.
And the same thing goes with the OEM knockoffs, low quality Chinese that you talked about earlier, because it's non-TAA compliant.
Yeah, and that's the sticky part, because they're not supposed to be on advantage, but they certainly are. So you need to be a smart shopper.
Exactly. So what happens if you guys want, not you, but if it was you, if you decided you're going to do this bait and switch thing? Not
sure.
a good one.
Well, of course, you're not going to see that vendor on GSA forever. They're going to get their schedule pulled, and in addition to that, they're probably going to get all their other contracts pulled. And then the Department of Justice might be knocking on your door, as we heard with another vendor on GSA. And so it goes beyond the business world. You could face federal prison time and have to pay back agencies for the wrong you caused.
And you're probably, if you're here for the first time, you're probably thinking, hey, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you have prison time for that? Well, you're talking about millions of dollars. In fact, let's talk about this, because this is actually included. If you go to the handouts, you can download this to find out if you have a check coming for your agency from this particular court case, right?
Yeah, so this was a vendor. He owned two different companies and was selling on GSAadvantage and through DoD eMall, now DoD FedMall. And through his GSA schedules, he had, with his two companies, was offering rock bottom pricing. It looked great. It was listed as an OEM. These were for toners, and he wouldn't ship them. He would send these new build compatibles from China. And people were catching on and complaining, and I don't know if he fixed any of these along the way, but eventually the Department of Justice caught up with him, and he was just sentenced a few weeks ago to 33 months in federal prison, and was ordered to pay was it $1.5 million in restitution to over a dozen agencies. We think you say we got the list here.
Yep.
So yeah, open that up, check it out. It's pretty wild, the scope of the fraud that he was running, but it was over $3.5 million worth of toner, where he was taking orders all day for the originals and shipping out the compatibles. So
and so this is why this is so important, and that's anybody that's on Fizzy, they have to follow those rules, right?
That's right. So they're building in that level of confidence then when you see the Fizzy logo next to a vendor's name, that you should be getting exactly what you're ordering.
And so they don't have to order off of Fizzy, right? They can still order off of Advantage. But if they want to make sure, if it looks too good to be true, all you have to do is look for the little Fizzy logo, right? And see if the pricing is close. Because every once in a while you guys get some special pricing, or you put something on sale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the key is to be a smart shopper. If something is way out of line, you have 75 vendors selling a toner for $150, and you got one guy, well, it's on sale for 100 even. He's not getting that big of a discount from the OEMs. Something else is probably happening. There might be just a complete honest mistake, keyed something in wrong, but it's worth further scrutiny. And the same thing goes for bids that are put out on eBuy. You should expect to see everyone clustered pretty close together. If you have someone that's many thousands of dollars lower than the competition, be aware that you might not be getting what you're paying for, and follow up. All of the OEMs have federal teams. They're very willing to let you know if someone's authorized. They're willing to let you know if they're buying it through authorized distribution, and they can help you out here. And if you need any of those contact names and emails, you can reach out to us, and we'll put you in touch.
And that's something that you do anyway, because you know how things work, and you just want the agencies to get what they're paying for.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're selling, but we're also taxpayers, and we want the government to get what they're paying for.
Exactly. So that's how you can tell on the front side. And then when you actually get it, and this is with HP, but if you use HP for an example, there's ways to be able to tell that it's legitimate, right? And even some of the knockoffs, they get pretty creative, don't they?
Absolutely. So yeah, a lot of times it's fine print on the box, compatible, alternative, works with, something like that. But the HP OEM toners will have a hologram on them. They'll have a serial number. You can go on the HP site and type in the number. It's hp.com, I think, /go, and you can put in the number there. Make sure that you have original toners. Again, you can reach out to HP directly, to their federal team. They have 5 different reps that each one covers different agencies. But yeah, there are ways to check after the fact, make sure that what's in your warehouse or what's on your shelf is exactly what you ordered.
And those little diagrams that you see there, there's apps for the phone for HP that all you have to do is hit it and it'll tell you right away if it's legit.
Scan it right in, yeah.
So it's very cool. So there's ways to be able to tell before and after. And but we do know that anybody that's an FSSI holder, you can see the list of them here. You can also go, that's a very, very long URL. It is included in your presentation here. However, there's, all you have to do is do FSSI OS4 holders and you'll come up with this list. And I think it's what did you say, 16 now?
There are about 16 or 17 vendors now. Like we talked about earlier, it's an on-ramping process, so the list is growing. But yeah, I think we're at 16 or 17 as of today.
And just so you know that you're not a bait and switch, there's ones called cartridge savers here.
What do you know?
What do you know? Awesome. So then the other thing we mentioned, ordering portals. Obviously, the biggest ordering portal is GSAadvantage, and there's some. It makes it challenging for folks sometimes because especially when it comes to toner. Obviously, this is across the board with other office supplies too. This isn't just toner, right?
Right. So yeah, we see the same sort of issues with other products, but yeah, toner's the major one.
Yeah, toner's the big one.
Yeah.
So that's why we're talking about toner right now. But if you look at this, and you see that there's a FSSI in blue, you'll see that, and you can see the pricing structure that's associated with that on GSAadvantage. Most folks know about that. Searching products on GSAadvantage, very, very similar. I mean, you can use the part number. Challenge is that doesn't always give you what you want, right?
Right, and I think that's what people were saying earlier in the poll. So you type in, my example product I always use is the HP CE505A. You type that in and you expect to see a listing for the HP OEM toner, but you get 5 different pages and each one has 5 different results. So you're looking at 25 results for a single toner, and then all the different vendors underneath. One key tip that we use is we always add the manufacturer prefix before the toner. So for HP, it's HEW for Hewlett Packard, then HEW CE505A. That'll cut down on a lot of the results that you don't want to see if you want to get to the original. And then it's also really important to use the drill downs on the left-hand side of Advantage. So if you do a search and then immediately hit fizzy vendors only, it'll cut down a lot of the junk in there. Yep. Or you can get to contractors and go right to the fizzy contractor like cartridge savers that you normally work with, or you can start by putting a contract number in and then do a sub search for what you're looking for. So those are a couple different ways to cut down on the noise on Advantage and a lot of the bad results that you get on there.
Absolutely. And then you also have your own ordering portals that you can for you, and your GSA schedule pricing pops up. How does that work?
Yep. So our pricing mirrors GSAadvantage on our website. It's a lot easier to search. and it gets rid of all of the problems with Advantage of seeing 1,000 results when you're looking for one, and seeing a whole bunch of garbage results when you're looking for an HP OEM toner. So we encourage people to shop on our website. All you have to do is click login, select I'm a federal user, and we'll set you up with GSA pricing. And it just cuts out a lot of the noise and the bad results from Advantage.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll get some questions and answers. We have a couple here. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. There's a little thing there if you want to be included. You can shoot us a text, and let's see what some of these are. So what about pricing? So FSSI OS4 provides best pricing through all the platforms, including yours. Isn't that true?
Right, so they'll all mirror. If you're looking at our contract, our price on Advantage, our price on FedMall, our price on our website, will all mirror each other. And again, with pricing on Advantage, watch out for things that seem like they're too good to be true.
That's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's definitely, I don't know how many times you've seen anything on, I don't know if you go on Craigslist or whatever. You ever see anything on
Sure.
there?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Bait and switch. You're talking. I've got no idea what they're thinking, but anyway. So what about Ability One? This is really important, right?
Yeah, of course. So we were talking about how you have to be authorized with all of the major manufacturers for toner. Fizzy dealers also need to be authorized distributors with Ability One. So to support the program and to hit your Ability One goals, look for the Fizzy logo again, because you know that those vendors are the ones that are authorized and supposed to have the entire Ability One lineup on their schedules. And
your vendor portals also give you access to those, right?
Yeah, so we have the Ability One line on our website as well, and then of course we're always standing by to assist with quotes or to help out with finding a particular product if Advantage isn't cooperating that day, or if you need a little extra assistance, if you have a description but not an NSN, or your end users don't know exactly what they're looking for. That's what we're here for.
And we already addressed this, but what about gray market products? There are none. And if there are some, you're going to be out of the pool if you start doing that, right?
Right, and that's the big reason or another big reason to make sure you're ordering from an authorized distributor, because you don't want to pay for a toner and a warranty and only get a toner, or even worse on the black market stuff where you're paying for an OEM and you're getting a knockoff made in a non-TA compliant country.
Absolutely. And then one more is how does pricing work in the vendor portals? And you kind of mentioned this earlier. Whatever the current pricing is on FSSI, it is reflected across all the platforms. Isn't that true?
Yep, of course. And I'm glad this came up again, though, because I want to reiterate, you need to get logged in. It takes 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes to sign up and for us to get you approved for GSA pricing. But if you're not logged in with a federal email account, you're just going to see commercial pricing instead of GSA pricing.
Perfect. And you do have special pricing. I saw some recently that you did, right? With special pricing on occasion.
Yeah, so we have a lot of items on sale right now, running through the end of the federal fiscal year, including our toner and office supplies. And yeah, getting extra aggressive here, additional discounts off of our schedule pricing, because we know things are ramping up here at the end of the year.
And that is true. My goodness, it's true. It's amazing. So any additional questions, you can raise your hand. Let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see what we got. Is the presentation going to be made available? Yes, it is. In fact, you can download it right now by opening the handouts. The presentation is there with the note page so that you can have that. And also, we're recording this so you can watch it over and over and over for your entertainment value.
Use it to put my kids to sleep tonight.
That's awesome. Absolutely. So where's the list of FSSI OS4 holders? That is not in the handouts, but we'll send that out afterwards. In fact, we'll make sure we do that. But you can certainly do that. And we can go on to the next thing, which is avoiding the gotchas. Hey, use FSSI OS4 holders. There's a lot of work that went into this contract, right, Tom? Not just from your side, but from GSA side.
Sure, yeah, from the GSA, this has been over a decade in the making. This was, like we said, the culmination of all the best practices of the previous strategic sourcing initiatives and solving some of the problems that were still plaguing Advantage.
Mm-hmm. And when you do OS4, you have TAA compliance, sustainability compliance, no more bait and switch, and solves the quality control issues, including the high return rates, because you're sending out the real deal, number one. And you have deliverables that you have immediate turnaround, just about, right?
That's right. So the new FSSI contract is delivery within 4 days. That's mandatory across the board. If you go flipping through Advantage on schedules, you'll see some on there with delivery in 30 days or shipped within 30 days, and that doesn't work for anybody. So the new contract is delivery within 4 days, and in practice, 90% of our customers are within 1 day of one of our warehouses. We have 26 warehouses across the country that we pull from. So yeah, it's 4 days or less on most items to most customers.
And not only for meeting ability one, obviously you meet those mandates, but certainly they can always reach out to you for help. Any of the FSSI holders will be glad to help you find the products that you need and get you to where you want to go. So that's awesome. So what's going to happen next? You get a quick survey. You'll have links to all of the OS4 holders. We'll send that out to you. A PowerPoint presentation link, as well as a video link, as I mentioned, via YouTube. Any of the Q&A that comes in, we'll make sure you get that, as well as FSSI OS4 documentation, which will include all of the pieces behind it. If you're into that kind of reading, you can have that as well. And other than that, I think that just pretty much wraps us up. Thank you, Tom. It was awesome to see you again.
You as well. Thanks for putting this on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. And if you need to reach out, there's Tom's information right there, and tom.w@cartridgesavers.com. It'll get directly to you. And if there's anything else that you need, just let us know. We'll be glad to help you out any way we can. And other than that, let's say goodbye to everybody, Tom.
All right, take care and good luck with the end of the fiscal year.
Hey, yeah, no joke. I mean, it's crazy. So we don't envy any of you guys. We see it from the outside. Try to stay sane, right?
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate you joining us.